is Zack Zeidman. A little bit about my culinary journey. I started cooking in New York about 15 years ago. Before that, I was in architecture school. Started working in some amazing kitchens in New York City. Used that as my culinary school, very hands-on approach. Then I became part of the team at a restaurant called Estela in the East Village. And I was with that group for about 8 years. And in that time, learned a lot about I would say how to taste, how to build dishes, how to think about seasons and what is at the market and what makes the most sense to put on the menu at any given time. Some very definitely formative years, like working for that group. I was the head chef of their Italian restaurant called Altro Paradiso. In that time, it was very important keeping the menu changing every single day. There needed to be, about, I'd say, a quarter to a third of the menu consistent all the time, but the other portion of it just constantly changing. It was definitely a restaurant with a lot of regulars, so it was important to just really get new dishes on all the time. Then I met David and Josh, the owners of Sushi Noz, Noz 17, and Chez Fifi. I met them through kind of friend of a friend situation. I was looking for a head chef job. They were looking for a head chef for Chez Fifi. We did a tasting for Chez Fifi, and we really hit it off, and that was kind of the start of that. In waiting for Chez Fifi to open, I spent a year and change at the Noz restaurants, working prep, obviously a great deal of fish prep, working through service. I was doing most of the cooked dishes, which happened kind of like in the back and are passed to the chefs. Nice. That's kind of where we are. Yeah. I got to see many menu changes and seasons and how they approach that, which is very interesting because obviously it's very traditional Japanese and at sometimes kaiseki cuisine, which I had no reference for at all. So it was very exciting to see how, hey, it's snap pea season. This is what we do with the snap pea. This is our go-to, and work that into your repertoire. It was amazing. It's important to me that we offer a wide spectrum of experiences. Obviously, we stand behind every product that we have, but it's important to me, especially as a New York restaurant, that people can use the space for a wide variety of reasons, whether it be kind of a typical night out, let's grab a amazing roast chicken dinner, salad, maybe something to start, a great bottle of wine, and go home, all the way up to, we're celebrating a life-changing event. It's important to me to kind of offer that spectrum built into the menu, and I think that we do it in a really good way at Chez Fifi. Everything from, Chez Fifi is a bistro. It's meant to be utilized as a bistro, but we certainly offer different avenues to kind of really kind of enhance that dining experience and bring it to be something that's a little bit more if you're in the mood for that. So that's important to me. Being able to, like I said, kind of keep about half of the menu as like go-to dishes that become synonymous with the name Chez Fifi or any restaurant is very important to me. I think it's, especially in New York, like what keeps you coming back. You can't, you want to go back and see that thing on the menu that you've been craving like for the last 2 months or however much it might be. And it's important that it's still there and that it's getting better every single time. So that to me is paramount. It's, you know, we have this small repertoire of dishes that even now as a young restaurant, we you know, for the foreseeable future will be on the menu. We want them to be on the menu, but our job now is to make sure that they, we're refining and refining as much as we possibly can so that every single time that people come back and get, you know, our changuro, our omelets, our, you know, salad verde, like whatever thing it might be, how innocuous it might be, is just like at the pinnacle of what people have had. And then on the other hand, keeping the other half of the menu playful and dynamic and seasonal is very important to me. It's what keeps me engaged. It's what helped me. It is what helps me keep the rest of the kitchen staff, the front of house staff, everyone a little bit more engaged, getting excited about what's on the menu. Not that you can't get excited about a roast chicken every single day. It's really good, but it definitely keeps everyone on their toes a little bit more, and just furthers the dining experience, especially for people who have been here a lot. It's like, okay, it's a different season at Chez Fifi. You know, I haven't been there in 2 months. I want to see what they're doing with tomatoes. I want to see what they're doing with ramps, like whatever. So that's important to me as well. We do a lot of food, you know, like I said, Chez Fifi is a bistro. We do a lot of bistro classics, but we also combine other elements. I wouldn't say necessarily Japanese, but there are some kind of like behind the scenes, like Japanese preparations of items. It's important to me that the food has that bistro feel, which is, I wouldn't say rustic, but like unpretentious yet refined. And it kind of is what it is. There's not a lot of really ornate plating or anything like that. It really just relies on the ingredient, showing people how to treat it well, and putting it front and center on the plate with very little to cover it up. Even if something isn't specifically Spanish or Basque on the menu, which is a lot of things, even if it's something a little bit more French, a little bit more like bistro classic, we're always coming at it with a sense of like everything is very curated. By that I mean like the product is like first and foremost. Like we couldn't have a beef tartare if it wasn't like, if we hadn't have gone through the pursuit of finding like the absolute perfect beef for that item. Like we wouldn't have it on the menu. The same with, you know, any piece of fish that we're putting on the menu. It might not have a very elaborate set that goes with it. For example, the red snapper that we have on the menu now with artichokes and fava beans. It's like, there's nothing else better around right now but artichokes and fava beans. And what of, two of my favorite ingredients to work with. We spent a long time working with a couple purveyors to get like the exact right like size and specification for these red snappers. And they're now in a really good place, and we're able to offer something that I think most people can't, and it's through literally just like relationship with purveyor. And that's kind of a through line through almost every single ingredient that we work with. It was like a ton of time and labor that went into like the curation of all of those items that we want to highlight. And that in itself, to me, is a little bit of the Spanish inspiration. Us being in New York, we have to work a little bit harder to get that incredible product to us than you might have to in the Basque region of Spain, San Sebastian, anything. But once you've done all that work and you actually get it here, you know, the product speaks for itself, and we try to let the product speak for itself. The wine list at Chez Fifi is a collector's wine list. We want people to, just like the menu, be able to use that list for a lot of different experiences, ranging, again, anywhere from, hey, this is a normal night out, you know, we're celebrating Tuesday, all the way up to, you know, people buying really celebratory, very special bottles. So it's essentially the same philosophy with the food. We want to allow people both of those moments here at Chez Fifi.